Exactly. Yes. Well, let's keep moving along with, you got into Cal Arts, and what was your first job in the industry?
Well, I didn't stay at CalArts very long. I had a scholarship for my freshman year, and then after that, the scholarship went away. So, my parents, I think CalArts at the time was about 30,000 a year, and my parents made $30,000 combined. There
Wow.
was no way, like they were willing to take out a second mortgage on their home to pay for my school, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way, like, this is my dream. This is something I want. I'll work for it. So I dropped out of school and got a waitressing job. And then just every month, I only knew a handful of studios, but I'd take my large, like back when you didn't have a flash drive and you had to carry a physical portfolio, because I'm also super old. Um, get off my lawn. I had a huge portfolio walking around. And literally, I mean, I did not have exposure to business etiquette or how you go about doing things. I'm 18 years old. I don't know that you should schedule an interview. I didn't know to call any. I just show up at the door of these studios with my
Yeah.
big old portfolio. I'm like, hi, do you have any jobs this month? I'm like, wow, these poor studios. They're like, no. But I ended up knocking on the door of Film Roman, which was back then the house that did The Simpsons.
Mhm.
And Gavin and I know a lot of people from those crews,
Yeah.
including Brian. That's where I met Brian in
Right.
my very first job. And so how I got that job was probably not as typical as someone else. I knocked on Film Roman's door for the fifth time. So that means 5 months had gone by. And the same producer that had met with me before 4 times, this time I didn't stand on the outside. He brought me into his office and he closed the door and he sat down and looked at me and said, little girl, I don't know what you're doing here. You don't have any experience. You don't have any qualifications. I don't know why you keep coming back here. I don't know what you want me to do. And I said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to hire me. You're going to hire me and you're going to pay me 1/3 of the salary of the lowest paid person at this company. And that includes the janitor for 3 months. And if after 3 months, I am not as good or better than everybody else here, you can fire me. But if I am as good, you're going to hire me and you're going to pay me like everybody else. And then I just stuck out my hand and waited for him to take it.
Wow. That's a great story. Now, what happened?
He took it and he did pay me 1/3 of the janitor's salary. It was a non-union studio, kids, non-union bullshit.
I was going to say, how did he get back
But
with
he paid me 1/3 of the janitor's salary for 3 months. And after 3 months, I had stayed nights, weekends, whatever it took to learn everything I could. And I was one of the best layout people they had by the end of that.
Wow. What was that? The Simpsons?
That was the critic.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
I was on that show. So, yeah.
Yeah. So Brian was my very first director.
I'm trying to think of who that, I mean, that produced, that was, I know who the producer was on that show. But that was a woman producer, right?
That was
Barbara
Barbara
Cordova.
Farrow? No.
Barbara Cordova.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But
It's a
anyway,
long time ago.
that's an amazing story. That's like something right out of a movie, right? So congratulations. And that
I
was,
didn't know any better, and I have a real hot button trigger for someone talking down to me. Like that person, who I will not name, that person could have said the same thing in a kind way, and instead he chose to just kind of devalue me in a way that I didn't appreciate, and it just kind of ruffled my feathers enough to light a fire to be like, I'll fucking show you. I'll draw your head in circles.
nice. Well, I mean, good for you. That took balls. And I can't even imagine, like, you're kind of acting like I wouldn't advise someone else doing that same thing, but maybe,
Well,
that's not a bad way.
would I do that same thing today? Not in the same way. Youth
Right.
can get away with a few things, but I loved that. So I started my professional career at 18, and then I learned everything from the ground up. I went and I've now worked, I think, with every major studio except for DreamWorks. and had some kind of hand and made sure that I had experience on all kinds of programming or shows. I wanted to do short format and long format. I wanted to do television. I wanted to do feature. I wanted to do 2D. I wanted to do 3D. I wanted to do live action. And I just made sure over the years that I did a little bit of everything, that I took a lot of risks and did things that made me uncomfortable, but that pushed me and made me grow. So that I wanted to be that person that sat down on the other side of the desk and couldn't be told, you have never done that, you don't have the experience we need.
Right.